Taxing's understatement. By the way, that was David, who's actually inspiring. I'm actually probably gonna try and pull him on to talk a little bit later. We actually had this conversation earlier. I'm not gonna talk about all of it, but it basically divulged down into
Now there ain't nothing to it. Go ahead and bring a lot on. Ain't no giant, I ain't gon' fire on. Catch a fade, you I'm wrong, I'm gone. Y'all can catch the wave that I am on. I am icon, y'all are wide wrong. Think that I'm a reconcile bond, so ain't nothing to it though. This is on me, ain't got much to do with who you know. Keeping it true to form 10 L's into a milli though. But they already knew that those farewell to your opinions. Know that he is something. This is all me, ain't got much to do with who you know.
What it do? 5 in the morning and I got my mind on loop. I never sleep cause they smoke up in the Bugatti. I woke up in the coupe. It's a G. 35 gin and juice where I woke up feeling like Snoop. And the whole team ready about the action and we didn't come to loot. Now we didn't come to loot. A certified polymath, I am living proof. And I just kick it, I do my business, and then I visit the obituary when I hit the booth. And I did it all on my own, cause nobody showed me no love. But now they say, damn it, he's grown. You should've known. Now what is to come? They say, oh Lord. They don't really do it like us. They don't really live that life. They don't really got that buzz. So we say, oh Lord. Carpe diem. It's about time that they see how many days that I've been seasoned. And right now I'm like my mama always told me just to go for it. Every time they see me, they say, oh Lord. And it is what it is, so why you so mad at me, lad? But there's so many rappers that they all started calling me dad. You wanna battle me, somebody will end up dead. And I'm bored with the flow, wars on the boat, he better roll to death row before his boat never sail. I'm getting better still, old money, old bread, guess I like it better still. And she's on me, dog, and I don't wear designer cause I got a better still. You peons can be on my level, I'm clever, so be gone. I know you see the lights flash neon.
no, I did well, I was doing 30 seconds, but I switched it up and I was doing 4 rounds. So like the first set of exercises I did deadlifts, front squats, or I changed those to Zercher squats, bent over rows, and ab rollouts with a weight. And then the second round I did drag bicep curls, floor press. I tried to do French presses, but those turned into just being like strict shoulder presses.
French press?
Yeah.
What's a French press?
That's where you barbell behind the head. It's kind of like tricep extension.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And then finished up with stiff-legged deadlifts. And I was like, all right, I had lightened the weight because I was doing arms for stiff-legged deadlifts. So I was like, that's not gonna feel it. But from doing all the leg stuff earlier, training so much anymore at these workouts, these at-home workouts. My legs are so sore. Twice this week, and then I did a stupid. Oh well. Anyway, what up? So we're gonna talk about wasting time, or not really about wasting time. It's more so about how do you waste time, or these little things that you get into that suck your time away. And I think it's more prevalent now during this pandemic crisis because everybody has time on their hands, and I mean, even to me, I know like I used to talk about having a good morning routine or evening routine or anything like that. One of the things that I remember people saying is like, don't get on your cell phone, don't go on, like social media first thing in the morning. And and like, I didn't do it for a long time. And then for whatever reason during this pandemic, I kind of like, one of these days I kind of like picked it up and started going through like Instagram. And so normally my routine is like, I jump out of bed, stretch, do some push-ups, some squats. Like I always get a routine in, and then get ready for the rest of my day, blah blah blah. So usually by the time from the time that I get out of bed to the time I walk out the door, it's usually about 30-40 minutes, something like that. I started on Instagram, and I spent an hour laying on my back on Instagram, like.
And the time goes by fast.
Yeah, it goes by fast, and because you're not like restricted or saying like, okay, I have to be at such and such a place or wherever, it kind of just like flies right by. Damn, I turned this off, but I guess we're still going. Hopefully. Let me double check and walk over.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what do you do, David, that wastes time? Yeah, we're still recording.
So it's funny because, same thing has been going on with me. I tend to have a morning ritual. And just like you, man, with these times, I've been getting on my phone and looking on Instagram certain videos of certain people talking about how, this whole pandemic is fake news. Other people saying the complete opposite. Other people, worrying very much about, so much to a point where, again, it's like, it's really messing with their mentality and how they're being able to handle the whole situation. So then it throws me off, and then I start doing a bunch of research on one side than the other. And instead of prioritizing what needs to get done, I'm just online either bickering with someone else, starting these debates, starting these conversations with people, talking about,
coming here yelling at me.
Yelling at him, like, Osai's been like the mediator of this. I'll come in here yelling a bunch of things that I found, and Osai would be like, David, slow down, think things through. Is this even really important? That's actually what we got to at the end of the day.
Today.
It's like, dude, why is this important? Like, at the end of the day, how much is it affecting you? I'm like, it's a very good point. Like, it really hasn't affected me all that much. And yeah, man, that's the crazy thing is, like, for me specifically, it wasn't until recently that I figured out that, I just love to get into the chaotic side of things and just take on that aspect and roll with it. So for me, it's finding a way where I can step back and then realize, like, okay, I'm not prioritizing, my time how I should be.
Yeah. Like I said, for me, it's always the thing of avoidance. Sometimes if I don't want to do anything, then you can find anything else to get into, even though it has no iteration, it has nothing to do with your present life or whatever. Yeah. And one of the things I want to, bring up, especially, talking about a lot of stuff about the pandemic, and we go into history talks, you should see. One of these days, I should just record one of me and David's talks and just put it up there. It's be hilarious. Hilarious. You guys will probably die. But anyway, it's just going to be, I lost my train of thought.
How people are handling the situation.
Oh, yeah. You focus on, like, especially, like, kind of like talking with David today, he's like, some of the things we're bringing up were, like, in the past and stuff like that. I'm just like, that's great and that's wonderful. But the main thing is, we have, whether we believe it's a pandemic or not, it's here on your doorstep. There's situations, there's things that are going on. I'm not saying, like, be present, because I think really everybody's present, but bring your mind to the present moment. Yeah. This is where it needs to be. This is where it should be focused on. And, I talked or I released a vlog yesterday, which I think is going to be a week later, about being grateful and having gratitude and thinking of those small things. And I think, like, when we get back to, like, just thinking about the small things that are going on in life on a daily basis, the walks that you have, the sun is out, or if you're walking in the rain, or just whatever. Just take notice of those like little things, man. That was me, but it was definitely a fun conversation. So I want to know too, also, honestly too, like, if you guys are watching this on YouTube or on Facebook, what are some of the things that you guys are wasting your time on? Like, what do you find yourself, like, bring yourself and analyze that. Like, don't go into zombie mode. And zombie mode is like, what is it that your subconscious basically controls, like 90% or 99%.
Your life, everything that you do.
Yeah, you go into zombie mode. And this is a good time, like, this time where everything is changed up is a perfect time to start making those changes, making deeper thoughts into your process, what you're doing, and doing things a little bit different, breaking your cycle that you normally would have, doing things differently. Like, David didn't cut his hair for 3 weeks.
Honestly, and one thing I wanted to bring up was just that, like, before this whole pandemic happened, one thing that I really relied on when it came to getting work done was having, like, specific environments where I do specific work. Like, you come in here, you get your work done here, and then you go home, and I assume your home time is your personal time, right? So for me, now that I haven't been able to go to, like, I would usually go to Barnes and Nobles or a coffee shop, and that's where I would get my work done. I figured out where during this whole time, I wasn't doing anything. Like, I wasn't as disciplined as I should have been because I'm at home, and there's so much temptation at home. That's the thing, right? You got, I don't know, YouTube, Netflix, whatever it is. You want to do something else instead of doing what should get done. And so for literally the first 2-3 weeks of this whole thing, I wasn't as efficient with my time as how I should have been. And now I'm starting to get a groove of things and getting back to it. So I think this is a great time to look at it in the perspective of saying, well, if I can be disciplined at home while I'm here all day, all the time, not rummage through my fridge because I'm bored, or not hitting up friends because I'm bored, or looking up conspiracy videos like I'm doing because I'm bored. And if you're actually able to say, like, this is what I want to get done, these are the goals that I have, and I can sit down at home and knock them out, like, if you can do that now, then you can do it after this whole thing is over, for sure. That's what I think.